Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our remembrance of 9/11, which happened 20 years ago, exactly 20 years ago today. Most everybody knew someone, either directly or indirectly, that was lost that day. We have so many volunteers working on today's remembrance, but I can't thank them all right now, but I would like to thank some in particular. Volusia County Fire Service and the crews that you see behind me here are volunteering their time today. Port Orange Fire Service has a truck here today. Our own security officers volunteered. The Spruce Creek security officers volunteered to come out today and help us with this. And we have our Volusia County Sheriff's Department has supplied a lot of what you see here. And off to my left, you see forming up the honor guard supplied by the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. They'll be right along in just a minute here. The Volusia County Honor Guard from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
Honor Guard! Hot head, hot! Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the national anthem. Thank you. Color Guard! Gary Dollar.
We will now honor our flag with the Pledge of Allegiance. Military and veterans can leave their hat on and salute. The rest of us, right hand over the heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we will have the singing of our national anthem by Michelle Marie.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land
Thank you, Michelle. And today, we are fortunate to have our very own security chief, director of security here, Chuck Fernandez, who was a New York Police Department lieutenant and platoon commander for the New York City Highway Patrol on September 11th, 2001. Chuck Fernandez.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I had a lot of reservations about this day coming. It's been 20 years in the making, and it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it was just yesterday that this event happened. We're going to place 6 wreaths in front of us to represent all those lives lost and the ones that we continue to lose. So we're going to start by having the wreaths come this way, with the fire department being represented first. Then we have the police officers, law enforcement community represented. We have our military represented. We're going to have our civilian population that was lost that day also represented. We're going to have our United and American Airlines pilot community and all the staff that was on the planes that day represented. And lastly, but not least, all the members that are still losing their lives because of the illnesses acquired from that incident represented. Round of applause. Thank you. So we're going to have in this ceremony 6 tollings of the bell. The first 2 are for the 2 towers that were struck, the North and the South Tower. And those will have a moment of silence. It'll be followed by a moment of silence. Shortly thereafter, we're going to have bagpiper play, Amazing Grace, and then we'll start the program after each tolling of the bell. We're only going to have 2 moments of silence, so I appreciate your silence during those tolling of the bells. Thank you so much. I want to start by saying I worked for the NYPD on September 11, 2001. And we have a motto in the NYPD, as many law enforcement and military and fire departments do. Our motto is Fidelis ad mortem, and that means faithful unto death. And that is just hits the heart so much because I've seen so many brothers and sisters lose their lives. My department was no different on that day. We lost 23 first casualties of this war that we were just ending recently. We had 22 males and 1 female officer from my department lost. We also had 37 also men and women from the New York, New Jersey Port Authority Police Department. We had 125 military personnel, civilian and uniformed services, lost by the attack on the Pentagon as well. And in total, we had 2,977 lives lost in one day in our homeland, which was attacked by these cowards, these despicable humans. So, of course, we lost lives in the air. American Airlines had 2 planes in the air. United Airlines had 2 planes in the air that were hijacked by 19 terrorists. And those lives are as precious as all the others that were lost on that day. I had a lot of anxiety overnight thinking about today and what it represents. And one thing I can tell you that brought me solace was the united feeling I felt shortly thereafter. It's like America came as one together to face this challenge and to overcome it and to certainly fight back and hold people accountable for this moment. So I want to thank you, everyone, all Americans, that day, responded in kindness to all law enforcement, military, and by giving their support and help. Because I remember so many volunteers that day, and they were so special that that's what gives me solace, that America was united. And I hope one day soon we can all be united again. And I thank you again. So today, here at the Spruce Creek community, we decided to have this event. And I want to thank some people that were very critical in this event. So Dick Paterno, one of our Spruce Creek residents, and his daughter Sue Regan, she's behind me, made a lot of things happen for this day. I also don't want to forget to thank all our law enforcement community, Volusia County Sheriffs, under the direction and supervision of Sergeant Christopher Rigo, who brought his officers today as an honor guard. And so the battalion chief from Volusia County Sheriff also brought 2 ladder trucks and a 3rd engine over there to represent the firefighters lost. We had 343 firefighters lost on that day, 2 paramedic EMTs on that day. So it was a significant moment for that community. And in total, we had so many law enforcement, so many military lost as well. A lot of Spruce Creek residents have also volunteered their time. We have a CERT team that has donated their time and been contributing to this event, making sure that everyone has a parking space, everyone has a seat at this event. So we thank them. We thank the airport manager and his staff, making sure that the planes can take off, the ones that need to, and for arranging all the things. I also want to thank Keith Phillips and the Gaggle Red Flight for their contributions in this event as well. So I hope I didn't miss anybody, but thank you all for coming out today. How beautiful does that look? Please take pictures. This will be in the Update magazine in the October issue, so you'll have something to look forward to. So we're a few minutes away from the first impact on the North Tower, and I just wanted to share with you my thoughts of that day. We were called upon to respond to an unprecedented event in New York City. We have had planes strike many buildings in the past, but there was nothing like this. And the first plane struck the North Tower shortly at 8:46 a.m. on that day. It was a beautiful day, actually. And I just wanted to reflect back and let you know that the Highway Patrol, we all responded with motorcycles. And most people would say, what can a motorcycle do at a major incident? And I will tell you that I was very proud of all the officers that day, because we came up with a plan to evacuate Lower Manhattan that day. And obviously we couldn't do it on a motorcycle, but what we could do is partner a motorcycle with any bus that they can deputize and have them come down and then take all the people that were fleeing the attacks. So when we arrived and we saw what we saw, it was very, very hard to see all those two buildings that are very, very special to me. In the past, a lot of our officers would go there and organize before a major event, like a ticker tape parade, maybe for the Yankees or one of the football teams, or even if we had the astronauts in the Canyon of Heroes and things like that, which is in the financial district. What I wanted to share with you was that day we were attacked, our three pillars of our society. They wanted to attack our financial district, our financial might, if you will, because we are a capitalist nation under democratic values, and so they decided to attack the World Trade Center. One thing I will share with you about the World Trade Center that a lot of people didn't know, on that day, all the people that perished were from all 50 states. They represented all 50 states, all the commonwealths, including Puerto Rico, America Samoa. 92 different countries were represented by the people of origin from that day. So to me, striking the World Trade Center, really they struck the entire world. Of course it was on our homeland, but they really hit us hard. All 50 states, 92 countries, all the other commonwealths of America. So I took it very, very personal, knowing all that information in the near future. And we stayed there for a long while, recovering, trying to give closure to people. And a lot of us, unfortunately, suffered a lot of illnesses. And we've had more of the first responders that died that day have died since because of illnesses related to all the toxins breathed in. So I wanted to, again, just reflect and let you know that they did try, again, to hit the military, which was the Pentagon, and then they were aiming for our democracy by going to the Capitol or the White House. Unfortunately for them, they did not accomplish their mission. And I'll talk about that soon in a little bit more detail about United 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. So getting there to that scene that day, it was obviously chaos. And I remember the firefighters going into the building and going up the building, and who in their mind would go into a burning building? Obviously, firefighters are made of special stuff, and of course, police officer brethren also went into those buildings to evacuate everyone, and all the civilians that were coming down would, I'm sure, think about looking in their eyes and saying, you should be coming down with us rather than going up. But they did their duty that day, and like I said earlier, they were the first casualties of this war, this 20-year war that we had with these terrorists. But it's not over. Recently we lost 13 lives in Kabul, and that's just adds to that day that we share. I remember the look and the fear in many of the people's faces, and that will always be ingrained in my memories. So I wanted just to say that. Thank you for being patient with me. A lot of emotions are welling inside of me as we reach the first pivotal moment of 8:46 a.m. You're good. So I came here to Spruce Creek and I joined the security force here. And I'm so proud of all my security officers that patrol and protect this great community. I have come to meet so many residents here, a lot of pilots that have a lot to say about that day. We'll have a couple come up soon to discuss, their thoughts and their sentiments from their perspective. But one thing I can tell you is that flying was never the same again after that day. Of course, our airports would have to change all their protocols, and we've all felt that. Um, we've seen how the flights are monitored now and things of that nature with regards to the schools and, you know, who can get the education to fly and do background checks and things of that nature. But I wanted to just touch a little bit upon that so that we can all know and appreciate, as most of you are pilots or part of this pilot community, this airport community in Spruce Creek. And my security officers always tell me, we're here, we're ready if anything happens. So they're here to protect you. And I just wanted to give them a round of applause for all they do. I also wanted to mention the board of directors, who oftentimes will approve these events, and they are very, very supportive of security. They want to back us up. They want to make sure that we have the resources, but also they're interested in making the quality of life for everyone here special. And that's why I wanted to be part of this security department, because that's what the support is very, very necessary to make sure that everyone is safe and secure. So I thank the board of directors, whoever is representing here for the board of directors. Thank you so much. I also want to introduce Ralph Linderman, who's one of our firefighters, retired. He's the one that's tolling the bell, and we'll have that honor today of tolling the bell another 5 more times throughout the program. So, as it were, 9/11 started with 846, and I'll just tell you that at 846 I wasn't there yet, but I did get a call from, God rest his soul, James Lundy, one of my officers, who said, "Lou, you've been recalled back to duty." And he called me about 8:48, just 2 minutes after, and he said to me, "You have to come in." And I had just gotten off a shift. I had worked 10 at night to about 6 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. Gotten home, just settled in, and I had a 1-year-old. Well, she wasn't quite 1 yet, and she was on the edge of the bed, ready to fall off. My wife was on the other edge of the bed, ready to fall off. So I snuck in the middle, grabbed my baby, put her on my chest, and started to go to sleep before that phone rang and that fateful day would unravel. So I headed in. We got our troops together. We were about 80 strong, and we started heading into New York City. And sure enough, what we were seeing was surreal. One tower was lit, and then at 9:03, which we'll be tolling the bell for shortly, another plane would strike, and more lives would be in peril and lost that day because of that. And as we reached our destination, the World Trade Center, we would start our evacuation plans shortly thereafter. Amidst the chaos, we knew what our duty was, and we were not going to stop from doing it. Nothing was going to stop us from doing it. So all the law enforcement community, I want to thank them personally for all they do for us to keep us safe in the domestic. And, it's just amazing some of the things that law enforcement have to engage in, and no one ever prepares you for this in the academy or in any textbook, how to deal with these things. But in reflecting back, I think every officer was more than brave. They were angels sent to help everyone on that day, and they did their duty, and they continue to do their duty to this very day. So I want to thank them also, and maybe I'll give them a round of applause to all law enforcement partners. So, also in reflecting with the events that happened, I wanted to share some of the things that were the positive, if there was anything that positive came from it. Americans came together and really rallied around this incident. And I had said before, there are so many stories I could share with you, but one that resonates with me is all the phone calls we were getting asking us, what do you need? What can we give you? What can we bring? What can we send? And because I was the platoon commander for the highway patrol, I had to organize escorts to come to Ground Zero because that was a closed area. No one could penetrate that until our job was done. So we would do these escorts from all these volunteers, organizations, just regular Americans that wanted to donate things to help us get through that event. So for all the civilians and all the support we got, it was just amazing to see Americans coming together under this incident event and help all the people that needed help to get through those hard days uh, for the next 6 months until Ground Zero was actually cleared away. So again, I don't mean to make you clap too much, but I really have a lot of gratitude for how Americans got together, united, and under this great flag and this great country came together to support each other during that event. And I yearn for those days to return again. So, I remember that in a positive way, if anything. So, thank you. One thing I can say about the event itself, how it unraveled, was there was a lot of chaos, and somehow our firefighters, our law enforcement, never gave up. One expression that came from that event is some gave all, but all gave some. And a lot of the firefighters obviously have some harrowing stories of what they did, going up to the top floors to try to evacuate. These planes that struck the towers would cause exits to be severed, and so the people were cut off, and unfortunately they could not come down, but the firefighters did their best to rescue as many as they could, and they did a great job. We evacuated from Lower Manhattan over 20,000 people in the course of that day, and the rescues that we've heard since about that day also are ingrained in my memory. How we were able to get people out of the rubble and things like that and save their lives. The Highway Patrol itself had all kinds of missions, not only getting buses to evacuate people, but also escorting critical people out of the area. One thing that I am thankful for is our military folks who, without any command directing them, they would come in uniform, and they were mostly reserves, and they would come and they'd come up to me and say, "Sir, I don't have a ranking officer on site, but I will take orders from you. Give me any orders and I will do them." And to me, that just was amazing. So the military folks that came that day to help out, I give them great gratitude, and I want to give a round of applause for all our military folks.